Hello, I'm Cinemod470, and as of October 31st, 2024, Dragon Age 2 is no longer the worst Dragon Age game. Veilguard has had a lot of mixed reviews. Oh, who am I kidding? Most of these journalists will rate anything 10 out of 10 if they feature someone who isn't straight. Not that I have any issues with non-straight characters being featured in games. It's just that it's the same issue that we see a lot in film and television nowadays. It's not focusing enough on the storytelling and the character development, but is actually focusing on pandering to non-cisgendered individuals. If creatives want to make marginalized groups feel seen and respected, fine, I'll never say they shouldn't. But they also have to make the characters compelling, ensure they fit in the universe, and respect the hard work of the people who created that universe in the first place. And this one clip that released on YouTube best represents what a lot of people have been complaining about. The scene features Isabella, a returning character from Dragon Age 2, and though she is a fan favourite, for her personality and questline obviously, get your head out of the gutter, her scene isn't a story-related cutscene where she could recount her days in Kirkwall with her old team. One member in particular is featured in this game. It is instead a makeshift PSA posing as a cutscene that is designed to educate its gamers instead of entertaining them. Instead of using the time developing the companion dynamics and relationships, it wants to explain why it's bad to apologize when accidentally mislabeling someone who's non-binary. To give you some context, this one companion, Tash, recently discovered that they're non-binary, and the end to their questline is coming to terms with what that means for them. But instead of being respectful, the scene comes off as pandering and very hypocritical. We don't develop anything new between Tash, Isabella, or Ballara's relationship. I mean, we have three characters, all from different species, and they all have the exact same opinion on Tash being non-binary. I'm not saying they have to be negative, but Ballara could at least ask questions about it. Her whole deal is that she's always talking, and she doesn't want to learn more about what Tash went through or why they feel the need to change pronouns. Though Isabella is trying to educate the player on how to properly apologize to someone when mistaking their pronouns, her method is hypocritical. When Isabella accidentally calls Tash she starts doing push-ups, calling it a Barv 10. It's supposed to be a gesture of apology when a crew member makes a mistake. In this case, mistaking Tash's pronouns. The reason why Isabella uses this style of apology is because she says that a traditional "I'm sorry" makes the whole situation about them.
Any reason you can't just apologise?
Sometimes people say, "Oops, sorry," and hope that fixes it. But they just want to get the whole thing over with. Trust me, I know.
What if they mean it when they say they're sorry, though?
And that's the other reason. Some people mess up and get all dramatic. They make it about them. "Oh, you know, I didn't mean it right. I'd never do that on purpose." They feel so bad about it that it's on everyone else to smooth it over and make them feel better.
But going out of her way to do the push-ups in front of everybody with no context immediately draws attention from Tash to Isabella. And Tash doesn't even say anything to indicate that they were offended. Hell, this entire scene is so half-baked, Isabella only does half the push-ups.
Pulling a barv.
Oh.
Okay.
A barv?
Tradition in the Lords of Fortune, from one of our old members, Barv. Good guy, but like most of us, his plans went sideways a lot. Bad blood among your crews, not good for morale, but there's not always time for big drawn-out apologies. So, when one of us screws up and we know we've screwed up, we do a quick 10 to put it right.
In Dragon Age 2, however, they managed to properly represent a non-hetero character without it feeling forced by using the party's banter. The banter occurs when the player is travelling with certain companions and they have conversations to fill in the time. Nothing too uncommon in this style of RPG. The banter between Isabella and Bethany has no pre-rendered cutscenes, and yet the dialogue provides so much insight into the characters' personalities and how they view each other. But unlike in Veilguard, it doesn't come off as preachy, pandering, or immersion breaking.
So, you've been with women? In bed? I know. Shocking, isn't it? You see, Sweetness, men are only good for one thing. Women are good for 6. 6? Which 6?
The dialogue helps the player gain an understanding of how these characters view bisexuality, as it portrays Bethany as very naive but not narrow-minded, and her questions to Isabella come from a place of innocent curiosity. And Isabella is very proud about her sexual experiences and uses the opportunities to tease Bethany, but not in a way that shames Bethany for her lack of knowledge. No one's the bad guy or offended, it's just two friends having an honest conversation, and it adds to their depth. You can have positive messaging in fantasy, but you have to be subtle and use allegory. Imagine when Yoda was training Luke, he just says, "Selfless and good person you must be, dark side fascism bad it is." Or if Frodo said at the end of Return of the King, "My injuries represent my mental scars from war." It removes all sense of immersion and leaves little for interpretation.